All right, so here we are at week 17. Left off last week. Found out the motor had a rusty crank. Waiting on the parts to come in for that. Don't know if they'll be here this week or not. Get that thing built. Going to be fooling with the headliner, parts of the headliner. Going to make some trim pieces to go in there and do some wiring in this thing. This is basically just a waiting on a lot of parts week. So we're just going to be jumping from here and there, I think, to try to get some little things done. Hopefully it'll be kind of productive this week. We'll see though. Let's get to it. All right, I'm going to try to take some of this ugliness out of this headliner. I'm going to try to make a cardboard pattern to try to hide some of that. I tried to heat it, but I think just because of the nature of the curve and all that, it's not going to smooth out any more than it is. So having said that, I'm going to try to make a trim piece to go over each door. I think that's our best bet right now. Do something like that. So let's get to doing it. All right, so all that I ended up doing was making a cardboard template basically of the curve of the window, and we're just going to transfer this onto this 1/4 inch panel, wood panel. I think I'm going to make this just a little bit thicker though, but we can cut 2 of these out and we'll just cover these with fabric, screw it above the door top, and I think it'll hide a lot of that ugliness that's going on there, hopefully. So I went and transferred this cardboard template over to some 1/4 inch plywood that I had laying around. I got the holes marked where they go, and we're just going to transfer those over to our wood template. Alright, so this is what we come up with. Put the foam on, put our fabric on. I had these little plastic chevrons left over from another project. Figured there'd be a nice little touch on there maybe. So I guess we're just going to take these out and see if they're going to fit on the truck, I guess. Might look stupid, I don't know. Hopefully not. Covers up all those wrinkles and trimmed out pretty nice. I think we're going to go with that. Again, it's not perfect, but you know what? It looks pretty decent, I think. We'll go ahead and make this one and get it in there so I don't have to look at that ugliness no more. I think it looks pretty good. Those trim pieces got rid of probably 90% of the ugliness in this headliner. It's not perfect, but took a lot of that wrinkled stuff out of there. That's the driver's side. This spot right over there there's a crimp in the cardboard itself. So in order to fix that, you probably have to take this thing apart, which I am not going to do at this point. We're going to call that a win. I like that a lot better than what was there. Hopefully, our brake pedal assembly will be here this week so we can get that mounted in there. We're going to roll the dice. We're going to go ahead and build that and run with that until she craps the bed, I guess. Hopefully she won't, but that's what we're going to do. Might as well go ahead and get these panels made for the sides. Got everything else. We might as well go ahead and take care of that now. We also have to make 2 panels for the door skins. Not really sure how much of that I'm going to film because you've already seen me make a mess of everything. You've already seen my handiwork on making panels. So you know, I don't think these ones are going to be much better, but we'll do a little bit of it. These are the door skins that I want to make panels for, small panels for the bottom, just to kind of take some of that tinny noise out. That's a very small panel there. The fabric that I got, kind of like a faux leather, I guess you would say, brownish color. So I found this Rust-Oleum product here. It's kind of like a hammered look, I guess, but the color actually matches pretty good. So what I did was went and painted the screw heads. The silver doesn't look too bad, but I think those will blend a little bit better and kind of hide a little bit better in there. So we're going to go ahead and use that. Seems to be working out pretty good for me. Just a little tip. Alright, so all I've done is made a cardboard template that'll fit up over the windshield and just flip it around on both sides. And we're going to go ahead and cut it out of wood and do the same process. An upholstery guy, I am not. I'll be the first one to admit it. I've never tried to do this before, but I don't think the panels themselves turned out too bad. Seems to be a nice tight fit on both sides. But you can see I should have done these first because I should have brought the door trim all the way down to a point there. That's going to be an issue on both sides. We may end up having to redo those trim pieces just so you get that swooping curve down. But that's not too bad. I mean, considering what we started with and what we're ending up with, I think it looks pretty good myself. It really straightened out that headliner a lot, I know that. So I think we're going to take that. Like I said, I'll keep tweaking it. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's going to work for us. Well, we've gone from this to that. I extended the end of that to kind of match up with the bottom of that panel, but like I said, I'm not an interior guy, but maybe it looks better than it did, hopefully. I guess we're just going to cut that piece of chrome trim in there. There's a little bit of a gap in the corner. I don't know. There's only so much tweaking I think I'm going to be able to do. We'll go ahead and do the same thing on the passenger side. Bring that corner down and call it good. I think it turned out pretty decent for never having done it before. I'm good with it. Okay, we got our wires run overhead for our radio. We got our trim pieces fixed. Maybe tomorrow we'll get to doing some wiring or something like that in the dash. Still waiting on parts, gauges, dash bezel, all that stuff. So we're going to make that piece for the ashtray, the patch. I've got this piece of roll pan that was left over that I cut off when we did the roll pan. It's almost the perfect curve for the ashtray, actually. Worked out really good. So I'm just going to cut a piece out of this. See if we can't make it fit up where that ashtray is. Just plate it off and take care of that. Okay, so we got our piece cut out. Let's go see if it fits. I'll tell you what, the curve is right on. File or grind this down a little bit, it'll fit right in there. I think that's going to work. Another problem solved. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get this throttle plate and choke plate covered with our little Chevrolet badge. All I did was cut the handles off the back. Chevy welded a plate on the back with some screws going through where the throttle and the choke would be, and just bolted it on there. We got our plate made for our ashtray. All we gotta do is pull that off and paint it now. Has been a real productive day, but we're getting rid of all these little piddly things. Alright, so the last thing I want to get wired in that cab is a some sort of a dome light. I can't find a housing, so I went back to the hobby store and I found this here. It's like an oil can half ornament you hang on the wall or something, but I'm thinking that we could probably modify this to make a housing, and my thoughts are to put two of these, one on this side, one on this side, for the cab lights, dome light thing, whatever. So let's see what we can do with this. I got an idea of how we can make this work for us. So let me get to it. So for tomorrow, I'm thinking maybe we're wiring in our lights, wiring in our wipers. We'll get our radio wired in. Get all that stuff underneath the dash wired up. Still waiting for the dash bezel and the gauges to come in to be able to finish that up. Waiting on the brake pedal assembly. So having said all that, I guess we'll be back at it again tomorrow. Okay, so we got some new parts in. Got our brake pedal assembly. New master cylinder. This is for a 69 Corvette manual brakes. Disc drum. New oil pan. One without dents. Gonna clean up some of this old stuff. Get in some degreaser, maybe throw a quick coat of paint on it just to make it look pretty. Left off the last time making our cab light thingy there. That needs to get painted blue. Doesn't really look good. Headliner color. Still need to tweak it a little bit here. It needs to sit a little bit closer in. But yeah, we still need to run the wire for that. There is no shortage of things to do, so let's get started. Well, I was going to try to harvest the proportioning valve and the plunger off this old brake master cylinder and booster, but I think it's all just junk. I think at this point it's just better to start fresh. I'm going to have to order a proportioning valve and a plunger, because apparently you don't get one with the master cylinder. I thought you might, but I guess you don't. And while we're at it, we might as well go ahead and order a new water pump and a new water neck filler tube. No sense messing with that. It's all rusted out. The water pump, I assume, was working, but how old is it? I don't know. How much life does it have left on it? I don't know. For the cost of it, it's pretty minimal. We'll go ahead and do that. So here I go again, ordering more parts. Let's see if we can't get this brake pedal assembly in and go from there. I think if we get it in there something like that, that's going to be pretty good. Right about there. We'll still have room for our accelerator pedal. So I think that'll work out just fine. Alright, so we got our steering column out. Got our first mark in. We're going to go ahead and drill that out and do one hole at a time. Alright, so I think that's where we need to be. I'm just going to go ahead and drill these holes out. Get it in, baby. Alright, our brake pedal assembly is in. I think that's going to work out just nice for us. That leaves us enough room on the floorboards here to put our accelerator pedal where it should have been in the first place. So I'm good with that. Let's move on. Well, I've been moving this battery tray around here for like 2 weeks from place to place. Let's get it up on the firewall where it belongs. All right, well, this was one of those slower weeks. Well, we got a lot of piddly stuff done. Got our radio in, radio harness, all done inside the headliner. We fixed our trim above the doors. We got our brake pedal assembly in. Found out we got to get a new plunger and a proportioning valve for the new master cylinder, so we got to put that on hold a little bit. Fabbed up our dome lights. Fabbed up their Ashtray plate and stuck our Chevrolet badge in there. So really wasn't productive, but stuff that had to get done. So did a lot of cleaning up of parts, painting parts, and you know, stuff that we're going to reuse. Our intake manifold and whatnot. Still waiting on engine parts. Probably next week we'll be messing with that. Let's see, what else did we do? Not a whole hell of a lot, really. A lot of little nitpicky things, but all stuff that would have to get done eventually. So next week, maybe get this engine tightened up, put back together, maybe stab it back in. I don't know yet. We'll see about that. Until next week, hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to be eating a lot of turkey as I always do. Have a great holiday. We'll catch you next week, and Take it easy, man.